So this is Coach Mo Fall, still and again. And we are here to talk about what your 80 to 90-year-old self wants you to know about. I have a really distinct advantage about this topic today because I spent the first part of my career talking to cardiac patients. I spent my early 20s talking to people who were on the brink of death. As a matter of fact, some of them actually did die, and we revived them back to life after our cardiac arrest, open heart surgery, some of them heart transplant patients. So as I'm in my 20s, talking to my heart transplant patients and heart surgery patients, they're saying, enjoy life while you're young. Don't put off things that you want to do until you're older or retired. It doesn't pay off that way. It's not what you want to do. It's not how you want to live your life. So in my early 20s, I was given this message to enjoy life. Take action. Do the things you want to do. Do what's on your heart. Well, I got to say, my first 25, 30 years of career, even though I was progressing and moving up the ladder, there was something inside of me that wasn't quite exactly right. And if you know my story, it really wasn't until I had my breast cancer in 2012. No, 2008, 12 years ago, in 2008, 12 years ago, that I really started to see what this whole thing is all about. Our purpose on this earth is to live a life directed by our soul, having our divinity basically directing us and helping us live life fully and be happy and joyous and fulfilled in making the contribution in the world. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to, feed the poor. You can be an accountant, an attorney, an engineer, a physician, a nurse, a teacher, an administrator, a marketer, or sales, and have your purpose flowing through that work that you enjoy, you love doing, and that really suits your personality. You see, your personality and your soul are two different things. Your soul is that unchanging, always present essence inside. And for so many people on this planet, it goes a little dormant. It gets just a little whisper. And it's hard to live your life if your soul is just a whisper. But I'm going to tell you what, when you're 80 to 90 years old, what you're going to regret are the things that you didn't do. You're not going to regret the things that you did do. So I have another advantage. I know I've got all kinds of advantages over you. Advantage number 2. I personally speak to hundreds, and I've spoken to thousands of women about their careers. And my team speaks to thousands of women every single year. And we know that most careers are not progressing and most women are not happy in their lives because they haven't taken inspired action. And chances are, if you haven't worked with me, if you haven't had a clarity call, if you haven't ventured into really diagnosing what's going on, chances are you're not really living an inspired life. Chances are you're living a life that somehow you got on this conveyor belt and one job after the other, or someone moved, or you got divorced, or your husband or partner took another job in another place. And more than likely, you've had some jobs that may have had to do with your education, but maybe it just never panned out to be what you really felt it ought to be. Perhaps you're an accountant who you've had one accounting job after the other, and it's just kind of been blah and flat. Maybe what you really want to do is contribute in a company and help the business leaders make better decisions. Your 80 to 90-year-old self, I'm going to say 90-year-old self, because you know what? By that time, we'll all be living to 90. Yeah, you better save money for your future, okay? You'll be working until you're 75 plus, and you'll be living way after 90. That's the trajectory of our human lifespan. Take care of yourself now, because there's almost nothing worse than living old and in poor health. You want to live old in great health. So the health topics will come back later too. So what your 80, I said 90, what your 90-year-old self wants to tell you is this. Find out who you really are. Take action in your life inspired by who you are. Live the life of your dreams by going after things. Live the life of your dreams by being all you can be. Don't shortchange yourself by sitting on the couch or by dreaming or hoping or by depleting yourself and hoping one day you won't feel depleted, and maybe one day you'll have the energy to finally do what you want to do. Don't sit on the sidelines. Your 90-year-old self wants to tell you that sitting on the sidelines is no fun. Because when you're 90, perhaps in a nursing home, being taken care of by others, perhaps that's sidelines enough. You will have sidelines to sit on. In the thriving years of your life, it's not the time for sidelines. It's the time for success, contribution, happiness, prosperity, and thriving. And when you thrive in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, then you have created great momentum for enjoying your golden years. When you have lived fully, you then can sit on the sidelines going, yeah, that was a good ride. That was a really good ride. Way to go. Way to go. I just visited my 87-year-old mom yesterday. Little sleeveless shirt going on here. And she's doing well. Thank you for asking. And, I learned so much about her life yesterday because rather than talking about the current state of affairs or, kind of some of the downer parts of life, we talked about her life and the things that she experienced and some of the young men she dated before she married my father and some of the experiences that she had when she enjoyed life and some of the things that really made her heart sing. And at 87, she's in decent health, but what there is are memories. There are memories of a life well lived. My mother had 6 children. I'm one of them. She was married for 60 years to the love of her life. She was a nurse, and she went back into nursing several times in her career. She was raising the 6 children as my dad's career was taking off and doing so well. My parents traveled. They educated all of us. They made sure we all got college educations and had thriving lives. And they gave us a good backbone of faith. And I will say this, as I'm sitting there talking with her yesterday over dinner, she reminded me of the precious moments that we have in life. And if you're living less than what your soul wants, if you're living less than your soul's power, if you haven't opened yourself up, if you haven't become your best version of you, I hate to say that your 90-year-old self might not be too happy about that because she wants to sit back in a rocking chair at 90, thinking back of all the positive memories and all the things that she was able to do and see and the way she was in the world. She's going to look back and say, yes, I really went for it then. Yeah, I showed that person. I've also had the benefit of having deep conversations with people over 100 years old. One of them was my grandmother. And she really relished the friendships and the relationships, the trips, and the sweet family memories that she had. As she was going through her final years, she lived to almost 104, my grandmother, my mom's mom. And at the end of her years, maybe her hearing wasn't so good, and her sight wasn't so good. But she was able to bathe herself in her final years with all of those happy memories. Now, you know what? I'm sure that my grandmother didn't live everything that she wanted to. She herself had 5 children and was an English teacher. And in those days supported her husband, who was a successful pharmacist and pharmaceutical representative. And they cherished their time together, traveled well, and really enjoyed life. Another, my partner's grandmother, who lived to be just over 100, she had regrets. She had regrets about not writing the book that she wanted to write, about not going places or taking enough daring things in her life. She sat back watching young people and encouraging them to take chances, to take risks, to do things that felt that they were laden with some fear. I'm not talking about jumping out of airplanes. I'm talking about taking a risk with asking for what you want, daring to do something that's going to really make you happy. And if you follow my work, you know I'm not a big fan of abandoning a job or quitting. I'm really a better fan of learning the lesson. But what I want to really talk about today is to have you be inspired to your 90-year-old self, to thine own self be true. Be true to your 90-year-old self, who will sit back one day and want to say, that was a life well lived. That you really went for it. Ask for what you want. Take time to do what you want. Take time to be with those people who fuel you up and feel better with them. Take time to create memories. Enjoy the stuff of life. You know, there's a bit of a vein about enjoying cars and homes and jewelry or clothes and things like that. Well, that's just superficial. And you know what? It's really not. Because if something has your soul singing, if something feels good, and that you're lit up and you're enjoying all of the aspects of God's world. You know, God didn't just make trees. He made shirts and jewelry and eyeglasses and watches and cars. Everything of this world, everything in it is something that was made, inspired by our Creator. So please don't take the easy way out and say, I don't need stuff. I know you don't need it, but it's fun. It's fun to enjoy the things of life. And we are on this planet to enjoy the life that our Creator gave us, not to suffer, not to be miserable, not to be in lack or feeling like they have something that I want. No, we're here to enjoy our experience, to enjoy each other, to enjoy our soul's expression. We're here to bring our soul so lit up, to bring our soul so bright that by our very presence, we will impact others. So that at 90, you're still bright and lit because you've had so many decades of practicing what it's like to be a soul on fire. That's what your 90-year-old self wants you to know. She wants to hang out, feeling happy, and that she contributed and expressed herself. That's what she wants. That 90-year-old self wants you to be satisfied today. She wants you to take action and do the things that are going to satisfy you and open you up to this big inner divine glow that you deserve to have. And when you're glowing from the inside, you're going to make better choices in your life. You're going to take advantage of the awesomeness of the world rather than shrink back, rather than think you don't deserve it, or rather than let external events control you. You know, your 90-year-old self isn't going to be too happy if you let the external events of the world control you and manipulate you into feeling fear and that you can't do something. Your 90-year-old self knows that that's not the highest road for you. And I venture to guess that at 90, you're going to have to. Yes, you're going to have to be full of memories. And if they sour you, and if you're upset and regretful, that won't be very nice sitting around thinking about that. I wish I would have. I wish I could have are not words that your 90-year-old self wants to say. They aren't. What your 90-year-old self wants to say is bravo. Well done. Way to step out there. Way to go for it. And you know, that thing didn't work out, but that's okay because it led you to that. There's a group of 35, 40 women who are coming to my online retreat this year. And one of them in particular is tickling my fancy right now because she landed her dream job, and a job that was nothing that she even thought was her dream job. And she's rocking it. She quit her toxic job before she joined the workshop. Again, nothing I endorse, but she just felt that she had to. And she made that decision and did that before she found us and joined our 12-week workshop. The transformations that she got in the workshop were not only stunning to all of us there with her, but also to her. And as she's in her new job, she needed some mechanical work on her car. And as things work out, she didn't want to go to the place that she had always gone to, which was near her old work. She just didn't want to visit that place again. And she just didn't want to do that. So her mother recommended someone new. And when she went to this new mechanic, there was all kinds of high energy vibes going on. And they are now happily in a great relationship. And as the universe tends to unfold the magnificence of our lives and create miracles that we could have never done ourselves, she said, Mo, had I not had that toxic work, had I gone to the same place that I've always gone to, I would never have met him. So because of that, I was able to reroute myself and meet this man I would have never met. She's telling this story. Her face looks 20 to 30 years younger than when she joined the workshop. I sent her on a special journey during the 12-week transformational workshop. And we laughed about that time. And she's just wanting even more. Her inner soul is lit up. She's enjoying life. She's loving her job. She was boasting about how at her work she's getting kudos for meeting metrics and going past their targets and that sort of thing. And she was just super excited. And now she's going for more. So we're going to work with her on our retreat. One of the other women who's in the workshop just finished her elevator pitch. And the way we do an elevator pitch is very unique and very special. And yes, Tarina, you were there listening to Laura. The way we do the elevator pitch in our workshop is a very unique formula, and it helps bring the soul alive in a very big way. So this woman who's in the current workshop, maybe she's in week 6, halfway there. She said, I feel like a totally different person after that experience. Now, she's had some of the other transformational work over the first 6 weeks that she's been in the workshop. But she said, Mo, just knowing I can feel this way, just knowing that this is true, that I can feel this way, I want more. So she's coming to the retreat, and I'm super excited to support her in the next few levels of her transformational journey. Because often I get the messages from what women are experiencing when they open their soul and they become the most delightful version of themselves. I've spent my entire professional career with this voice of the patients who told me as a young nurse to enjoy my life when I was young, to make experiences and to take chances, to go for things. Unfortunately, there's a lot of human beings on this planet whose messages were, you don't want to do that because you could fail. Don't go that far. What are people going to think about you? Don't speak up. Boys won't like you. On and on the messages go. So if you could erase the things that are holding you back, what would you do? If you could erase all of that fear, all of that trepidation, if you could imagine yourself flying free and being the biggest version of your soul, who would she be? Who is that 90-year-old going to remember that you were at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, how about even 80? You want to plant those seeds today. You want to plant the seeds for your future self right now, today. It's the one thing you can't get back is time. And your 90-year-old self wants you to know that. There is no greater time. Now is the time. Even though we're in a challenging time, and I will say this is the best time to go into your soul because it's what's needed now. That 90-year-old you wants you to know that there is no better time to step into your power and your grace, to step into who you know you must be. There's a voice in there, isn't there? There's something nudging you that there's more. And your 90-year-old self wants you to answer that nudge. Your 90-year-old self wants you to just open it wide open and just live life open and free. That's what she wants. So I want you to imagine erasing all of the things that are holding you back. What would that life look like? What would you look like living that free? Of all of the hundreds of women that we've worked with in our transformational work that we do, many of them continue to do more work with us because just that initial 12 weeks of having a great outcome, feeling awesome, and being able to move forward in life and career is just the beginning. It's just the beginning of a life well lived. And your 90-year-old self wants to feel gratified of a life well lived. You know, I'm noticing the chair behind me. Which way? The chair behind me here. I'm noticing the chair behind me, and I'm thinking to myself, that chair may still be there when I'm 90. And I'm hoping that I'll be sitting in that chair. Think of all the beautiful souls that I was able to touch. Thinking of all of the beautiful messages I was able to inspire people with. That I allowed my divinity to cascade through me so that I could do the work that I was destined to do. That I could be proud and happy of a 30-year career. That I made so many mistakes and I learned so many lessons and I did so many wonderful things. I want to be sitting in that chair behind me. Wait, it's like on the opposite side. That chair behind me, knowing, well done. Well played. Way to take action. Way to risk things. Way to go for it. I'll be sitting in that chair thinking those thoughts. And I might be thinking of you. There are so many clients who are on my heart that I see their lives and I see their souls and I see their journeys, and it just inspires me. It keeps me thinking about my 90-year-old self sitting back and knowing that I lived a life well done. I have a third advantage over you. I sat in the hospital in 2008 wondering if I was going to live. And that allowed me the deepest reflection time of my life. That gave me a huge advantage. Because as I was able to go deeper into my soul, deeper into the experience of who I am, and see who I truly am in the world. And then I was able to recraft my career. I was able to bring a different version, a multi-dimensional version of myself into my career going forward. So when I went back to work after that time, I was a different version of who I am, of who I was before the breast cancer, before the surgery, before that deep reckoning of the soul. when you face death personally, when you have that on the line, you live differently. You live with a sense that we're here for such a short period of time. Why not make the most of it? You live with a sense of wanting to totally be who you are. And there's a certain urgency about it. You don't want to waste time not being that version of you. That's what your 90-year-old self wants you to know. She does. She really wants you to know that when you're sitting in that chair thinking about your life, will you have lived it to your soul's potential? Will you have gone for it in the work you do? Will you have gone for it in the compassion and love expressed and shared? Will you have gone for it and truly sucking the joy and the happiness out of every moment? Will you have gone for it? I have another advantage over you. And you might share this one, perhaps. I have a 3-plus-year-old granddaughter. And she wakes up every day wondering how her day is going to go. Not wondering as in, oh gosh, I hope this isn't a sucky day. What are we doing today? What's happening today? How are we going to enjoy ourselves today? That's how she lives every single minute of her day. What's new? What's this? What can we do now? I want to do this. Now, as an adult, you can't quite live that randomly. But the joy inside of her, the joy that she brings to her life inspires me. So from all ranges of age and experience, we see a soul whose desire in life is to have joy, not to be closed off, not to be shunted or pinched off. You know, you have a choice as to how you live your life. It's called free will. Now, you may think that external events or other people are telling you how to live. It's not true. You've chosen that to be true. It's not true. You have 100% free will. But Mo, I have kids and I have bills. Yeah, right. Yeah. You'll still have kids and bills when you're living your dream, but you'll be enjoying it. But I can't do this and I can't do that and et cetera, et cetera. My refrigerator just broke. Yeah, your refrigerator is going to break from time to time. It's not a reason to stop living life. It's not a reason to not have joy. It's a reason to have more joy. Oh, goody, what kind of refrigerator do we get to buy now? But my credit card debt, my bills. Yeah, you have credit card debt and bills because it's a reflection of how you feel about your life and the scarcity and what you're running from. Fill your heart up with joy and happiness. Be that version of you. Be in a job that you're able to grow and expand and get paid more. It takes care of the credit card debt and the bills get easier. Now, I just had the opportunity to reflect on my check register. I ordered new checks finally, and I was putting them away. And I know checks, what are checks, right? I was putting them away, and as I was putting them away, there's an old checkbook of a checking account that I had at a credit union that I no longer am a member of, but the checkbook was there. And it was a credit union I joined almost 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, actually, when I worked at the hospital system I worked at. And over the years, I just, started banking elsewhere. And a few years ago, I closed that account, but I still had the checkbook from 5-6 years ago. And I was looking at the check register, which was a good almost 7 or 8 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And the bills I paid and the people I paid, like the lawn service, a plumber. It took me down memory lane just a little bit, the amount of pay that I had deposited in my account. It took me down memory lane. And I said, wow, that bill seemed like a big bill at the time. Wow, I remember when that happened. And you see, that former life, that former version of me was living at that capacity, but I kept growing. I kept moving forward. And when you see something like that from your past and you can recognize who you are now and how much further ahead you feel in your life because you've grown, it's so satisfying. It was so satisfying to feel that sense of my movement and growth, my progress, how much more I enjoy life and how much less I feel strapped down. I know that my 90-year-old self is happy about that. I know that she is. I know that I'll be a better grandmother to my 3-year-old granddaughter, a better daughter to my 87-year-old mom, a better partner, a better leader, a better everything that I participate in, a better sister. I know that all those aspects of me are better than that woman I saw in that little snapshot of the check register. I'm so much more alive now. I'm so much more living free and being who I am. I'm not regretting who I was 10 plus years ago. I'm on a journey. But my journey cracked open in 2008. And I don't wish that on anyone, to have their journey be cracked open. We do a masterful job on helping you see things in your life on the complimentary career clarity calls that we have. And the entire intention there is to help you see things now in your life so that you can make changes without having a massive calamity or chaos enter your life to make those changes. Most of the women we talk to have not lived truly, fully who they are. And some have tried and have missed the mark because they've been too big or too bold for the role they were in. They just didn't know how to manage and navigate their power and strength and intensity. As a matter of fact, one of our wonderful, successful clients of a couple of weeks ago landed her dream job. That was exactly her story. She brought so much to the table, but she was too much at once for people to really assimilate and take in. Not anymore. Not anymore. She landed her dream job and she's moving to a dream house with her and her husband, and they are rocking it. That's what we do. Oh, Liliana, your clarity call tonight. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure you'll have a great, great, in-depth, valuable call. I am honored to say that hundreds and hundreds of women trust us to have the complimentary career clarity call. And it's not always a fit to work with us, and that's okay. We want you to get the clarity so that your 90-year-old self understands what today's woman needs to do. You see, that 90-year-old self is watching over you. She is. And she wants better for you. She does. She wants better for you. She's there cheering you on from her chair. You don't need to sit in a chair now. It's time to live. It's time to execute. It's time to be all you can be. Impress that 90-year-old self today. Impress her. Be more of who you want to be today. Go ahead and do that. Book your complimentary career clarity call today if you haven't already done so. And for those of you who have and are clients, you know how much I love you and I care about your journey and I care about your soul. And I want you just to continue to pull the best parts of you forward and to do what you can to heal and erase the things that are between you and your awesome greatness. That's what your 90-year-old self wants to. She wants you to heal all of the things holding you back and to express and be that absolutely beautiful version of you. This is Coach Mo. Your 90-year-old self wants better and more. Go do that. Go be that. This is Coach Mo Fall. You can find me at mofall.com and in the transformational workshop, Kick-Ass Career Coaching. That's where all the magic gets started. We'll be happy to have you there. and of weeks so that we can take you on this magnificent journey back to you. Your 90-year-old self will be happy you did. Have a great week and erase all the things that are stopping you from being that beautiful, awesome you. We'll see you next time on Facebook Live. This is Coach Mo and Motivational Monday. Boop, boop, boop. See you next time. That 90-year-old self of yours is expecting you to step into your greatness. Do it today.